Hi everybody and welcome back. I hope you had a terrific, restful and enjoyable Thanksgiving break. We're doing First Mondays with Monaco video style this month, and glad to share with you in this format as I welcome a special guest to have a brief conversation in really reference to my trips that I took back in October, first part of November, to see some colleges and universities across the country. In late October, I went to Northwestern University and met with the Associate Director of Admission there, Andrew Linehan. And then the very next week, I traveled out to California to the Claremont Consortium schools and had 4 visits at those select small liberal arts colleges there. So we wanted to wrap up in brief synopsis here some of the things I took away from those visits, and do so with the director of our Center for College and Life Planning, Lisa Clay, and let you know that more information on this topic and on my visits will be available to you, and I'll preview and give you some ideas about where you can find that information at the end of this video. But for now, I want to introduce and welcome Lisa and thank her for joining me for this conversation, reflecting on my visits to these colleges. And these are important visits to make. You obviously
Absolutely.
see a lot of folks come here from the colleges each fall. Close to 200 will come to visit you.
We have about 200 deans and our admissions officers that visit us and our students. What's great about Parrish is that we don't say no to any college that calls to ask if they can come visit. And with that, we get to sit one-on-one and talk to not only with our students, but they get to talk to us in our CCLP office, and we get to see what's going on and what they're looking for each year, because the landscape changes every year.
Yeah, but it's important as the head of school for me to go out as well, to really tell the Parrish story, to make sure that these colleges, universities understand our school's history and our school's vision for the future, specifically, as you know, as we talk about where we want to move our program as we prepare our students for this complex global society that awaits them out there. I think my biggest first takeaway from the visits, Lisa, was this notion of context. And without being overly complicated, it basically means that these colleges, universities really come to understand the school that is sending a student to them. Colleges, universities across the country receive applicants from a wide range of sending sources. There are private schools, there are Christian schools, there are public schools, of course, there are home schools and charter schools. So colleges and universities have to be attuned to these wide variety of schools. And so it's really important that a school contextualizes the environment from which a student is coming. So I wanted to talk a little bit about how your office works to provide a context or a picture of Parrish for these colleges and universities.
So there's a couple of things we do. Number one is that we send a profile every year, and it's ever changing. With the profile, we talk about our signature programs, we talk about our competency-based learning, we talk about what our students look for and what our students are doing with basically the tools that we are giving them. So if you look at it this way, that every student is given a toolbox, and what they do with that toolbox is what a school likes to see. So every year, we make sure that our profile says that, so they can get a better idea. Also, when they come to visit us, we take them around if they would like to see Design Den, maybe talk to Ms. Fuquay about the Leadership Institute, talk about Parrish Bridge, talk to Dr. Holtz about AGS. So that way they get to talk to them one-on-one and really get the context of what a Parrish student does while they're here, and then what they can do once they leave here. Also, we're going to be having a reverse fly-in this year. We're going to start out with basically the colleges, the deans get to come to us, and they get to experience life as a Parrish student for a day that we're very excited about.
Yeah, and so when I speak to 5 deans or directors of admission, as I did in October and November, certainly I want to talk to them about who we are today, but I'm also really talking to them about who we aspire to be tomorrow. In other words, how are we moving this program to be one that inarguably prepares our students for the complex global society that awaits them, but can we do so in a way that keeps them whole, that keeps their level of engagement and passion for learning at a high level, sustained throughout their time at Parrish? And to do that, we believe we need to look at how we deliver curriculum with fresh eyes. We need to look at how we use time with a unique perspective. And we want these schools and universities to understand that we're not going to get too far out ahead of what they're ready to receive, what will prepare our students well to succeed on their campuses, and to get their feedback on where we're heading. And invariably what I hear from them is, we want you to fulfill your mission. We want you to live into who you wish to become. you just need to explain it to us. You need to give us the context of the environment that is sending the students to us. And in fact, the more creative your program is, probably the harder we'll look at your students' applications, because again, most schools send students in a fairly standardized traditional package. If you come from a place that has a unique context, a set of unique signature programs, unique spaces, a unique approach and philosophy, the readers there really have to take extra time to get to know the school.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely. And they are more likely to reach out to us again and talk to us about each individual student, which I think is very nice. So all of our students don't look the same, which is very refreshing, and what we've been told from the college side.
Yeah, so if context was the first big takeaway, I think the second one for me, though I should know it after being in the school business for 30 years, is really how increasingly complex the admissions process has become for families that are, leaving a school like this, have invested a lot of money at a place like Parrish, are aspirant for their child to get to the best possible college or university that they can get to, and remain really flummoxed and frankly confused by how decisions are made. And there's true explanation for that. I mean, I think when you sit with these deans and directors of admission, Andrew Linehan at Northwestern, for example, a place that gets close to 35,000 applications this year and will take 2,000 students. And when you understand the fine slicing of those 2,000 students, how close to 1,000 of them that are being accepted in a freshman class or coming through early action or have deep legacy ties or a special talent or interest, leaving in the regular admissions cycle from December into the early part of the spring, 1,000 seats left for students to be accepted. That for parents, the more you can understand the complexity of the calculus that lies in the decision-making process at these selective colleges, the more frankly relaxed and sane you can be as you move through the process. There is truly little that a family or student can do to alter that calculus. It is so institutionally based, and I think that was a really, telling takeaway for me as I did my visits.
Absolutely. And I think, too, what a student needs to remember is that we are going to help you, especially in the CCLP. We are going to paint you on your best day. And we are here to help you paint you on your best day. So we're going to help you give the best application that you can, because like Mr. Monaco said, everything changes, especially every year. And you can't help it if you are not that ballerina that they're looking for. But we can help you if you do need to apply ED or EA, and we'll let you know that that does increase your chances. But we're here at the CCLP to help you talk out everything, because we do want this to be as least stressful as possible, and we are here to help you with that.
Yeah, clearly, as the school has to tell a compelling story and tell its context to these schools and universities, really what they want the student to do is to portray their authentic self on a best day. They want the student to present who they are in their truest and really clearest and most authentic form. They don't want you to feel like you have to bring together the best academic record with the best service record with the best set of extracurricular activities and do everything to try to hit every marker that you think they may be using in their decision-making process. Frankly, they want to see what you're passionate about authentically, and they want to see that represented in the application that you send into them through the different vehicles that you have, your essay, your teacher recommendations, and et cetera. So I think this is just a taste of some of the themes that were part of my visits, and I have more that are coming up in the spring. Planning to go to Atlanta to see Georgia Tech and to get to the Mid-Atlantic to see some of the schools in the Carolinas. Lisa referenced the reverse fly-in, which will have university admissions representatives here on campus for a day. We're spending a lot of time as a still relatively young school and one aspiring to become a better version of ourselves through Reimagine, making sure these colleges and universities understand who we are. So you'll be cued at the end of this video to go to From My Angle podcast, and there you'll be able to listen to some conversations that have been placed there, one with Andrew Linehan from Northwestern, another with Laura Stratton, who's the Director of Admission at Scripps College in California. I'd urge you to really dig into those. It'll take you about 30 minutes to listen to them, take them out on a walk, or listen to them as you're doing some work around the home, or whatever the case may be. But I think in listening to these college admissions professionals, you'll come to understand the process process even more favorably, and to understand how well regarded Parrish is in the eyes of these colleges and universities. So for now, thanks for taking part and taking some time to listen to this First Monday with Monaco. Thank you, Lisa, for joining me, and we'll look forward to seeing you on down the road.
Thank you for having me.